What happens if you don't change your plans? I'm Christy Birchville, and today we're looking at Hosea chapter 4. We've been going through this book and really talking about change of plans. A lot of the things that happened to Hosea and that God brought Hosea through were things that Hosea had not originally planned on. So he had to kind of change his plans. Now, looking at Hosea chapter 4, part of what Hosea has been prophesying is that the people of Israel need to change their ways, right? They need to repent, they need to come back to God, they need to change what they're doing. Chapter 4 really talks about what happens if they don't. Now, there's an old saying that I'd heard that is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the results to change. It's kind of what the people of Israel are doing. They've been doing the wrong things. They're experiencing the judgment of God, but yet they don't want to change. And so these last couple of chapters, chapters 2 and 3, they talked about the importance of allowing God to change our plans and following his desire and goal for our lives. However, if we choose not to change our plans, we decide not to repent to God, we don't want God involved in our lives, God allows us that freedom to be able to choose that in our lives now. We just may not like the results. Doing the same thing over and over and over again for the people of Israel, that led to massive destruction. They were not going to be successful. They were not going to have the prosperity that they were anticipating they would have because they were not following God. God was going to judge them for their failure to worship and failure to follow him. And the people had a plan. It just didn't involve following God, and they were going to pay the penalty for that. Now, the verse that I have for today is Hosea chapter 4, verse 19. It's the last verse in this chapter, and it ends with saying, "A whirlwind will sweep them away, and their sacrifices will bring them shame." That doesn't sound like a particularly wonderful way to live. Sometimes when God tries to change our plans, we get really stubborn. We decide we like our plans. We like holding on to them, and we're going to hold on to them no matter what. However, we need to learn to let our plans go so that we can accept and enjoy God's plans for our lives. God is going to move and work in our lives, and we need to take the hint that he's leaving for us. And failure to change our plans, well, that may result in our experiencing the definition of insanity. Are we willing to change our plans to align with God's plans for our lives? That's the question. What do you need to change in your life in order to align with God? Now, all these other sessions that we were talking about, you can always find the link to the description or in the description below for the playlist for the entire session through Hosea. That's there if you need that and you want to go get caught back up. Also, there is the, definitely would love to have you like and subscribe. There's several more chapters left in Hosea, and we're going to be going through these each day, so would love to have you join us tomorrow. Thanks so much. We'll see you then.